I kicked the door open, swaggered in, pulled up a chair, sat on the chair, put my feet up on his table, chappals up on the table like that. All of a sudden I said, hey, topda kya dekhta hai? Photo. And I threw the photos there, right? It's great to desire, but you have to deserve to desire. The first role they gave me was to hold a danda and stand behind the main character. Suddenly a shoe came flying straight towards my face. In Game of Thrones, Arya Stark has a list.
Yeah.
I had my own little list. I actually took a kholi, a slum, a hut, on bhada. He said, "Tu star ban gaya mere bhai." I was in this space where I was like, "Mere ko shaadi nahi karni hai, boss. This doesn't end well." But I just want you to know that if I'm ever going to get married in my life, it's going to be to you. If I don't marry you, I'll never get married at all. I've been there. I've been at that edge of darkness. It's not that I haven't thought of things that Sushant did.
Hello. It was amazing to see you walk in and Saathiya was playing in the background.
That was very sweet of you.
Everybody was very excited. Been playing the playlist the whole morning prepping for this interview.
That's so sweet. No, I mean, look, I'm a big fan of the show. I love what Humans of Bombay has achieved in 10 years. Kudos to you. Kudos to the whole team. A decade of non-compromising, insightful conversation, which is amazing, right? You haven't sold out, you haven't gotten commercial, which is such a temptation when you get these numbers.
Yeah.
But you've held on to the ethos, and that says a lot about you and your team.
Thank you.
Not easy to do.
Thank you. It's been amazing to tell stories and excited to tell yours today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's start from something you said in an interview. You said that, through this entire journey of ups and downs, I still feel like that kid, that 5-year-old kid who got up on stage and loved that thrill of just the performance, right? How was your childhood? Because so much of who we are as adults translates from what we saw of the world when we were growing up. What was your childhood like?
I think mine was a little bit of a tumultuous childhood.
Okay.
Pretty much like my life, I guess.
Yeah.
Lots of fun ups and downs. But strangely enough, through it all, I only have happy memories. Like, my dad came from a wealthy, powerful family in Hyderabad. I was born there. My mom came from Chennai, from a very respected business house. But dad had a dream, wanted to be an actor. He was already married, was 32 years old. And finally, this young girl that he got married to really became the wind beneath his wings and said, if this is your dream, go for it.
Yeah.
And he went to FTII Pune as late as the age of 29 or 30. Graduated from there. He was the oldest guy in his class. Then got to Mumbai, struggled, coming from a palatial home in Hyderabad, and the family was like, no. This is a family of doctors, scientists, business people. You go to IIT or you study medicine, you can't, drown the family name by being an actor. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Bollywood. Nonsense. Blue blood from Punjab, pre-partition Punjab. So there was a lot of that attitude. And except for my mom, nobody really, supported him and believed in his talent. So I was born in Hyderabad, and my dad would visit every now and then because he was struggling in Mumbai. So in my growing years, it was my dadi, my tayaji, my chacha, my buas, and my mom. These are the people. And they had this cute, what I remember, they had this cute long-distance romance. And I remember my mom running to take the phone, which he would call from Pune or he would call from Mumbai. And she would run to take the phone. And that romance when he would take the train in a small break and try and come and spend the weekend with us. From there to shifting to Mumbai in a house that I still remember was, the bedroom was one gadda, the kitchen was one table with a stove on it, there was one window, and there was a common toilet that we had to go outside to use. But I can't tell you the happy memories.
Yeah.
It still has so many joyful memories. So I don't know whether it's the love with which I was brought up with. I remember 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old going in BEST buses and enjoying that.
Yeah.
And excitedly taking my grad's hand and saying, take me upstairs on the double decker.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember those memories. I remember Dad didn't have money. He was a struggling actor, and the family refused to back him, and he had too much pride to, go out there and take anything from his wife's family. So he made it completely on his own, in his own terms. And I saw that from that one rented room to the first house, to the, second bigger house, to the bungalow in Juhu. I saw that whole journey growing up. And through that tumultuousness, all I saw was this togetherness and joy and absolute gratitude for everything that God blessed us with.
Yeah. It's how you see the situations, how you perceive it.
It is.
That makes it.
Karishma, I felt that even that journey, even after I grew up and understood that journey, even after I grew up and understood the difficulties of that journey, which my parents shielded me when I was 6, 7 years old. But I grew up and I felt all of that. But somewhere there was a romance in it. Somewhere there was something about doing it as a family, being together, sticking as a unit, which is the core ethos of my being. I feel that मेरे लिए वही सबसे ज़्यादा important चीज़ है. वो foundation, वो नींव मेरी ज़िंदगी की, मेरी family है, मेरा परिवार है. And that allows me to, even when I'm older and all of that, looking to be an actor, to think that, this is a family that will support me no matter what in my dreams.
And when you finally did decide, I mean, you've had a degree in business, then you went to film school in New York. You've also done a little bit of script writing. So in this universe of options, right? Because there's so many options for you. You could become an actor, but you could also do something else. You come from a business family. When did you decide that, okay, this is what I actually also want to do? And it's just like my father, it's my dream. It's that, that purpose and that passion that I want to chase.
It was funny. The acting bug happened very early.
Oh, yeah.
There was a play. When I first moved to Mumbai, I think I was in Besant Montessori School. And there was a play. And there were 2 of us who had to play a soldier's part. We had to come on stage in front of the parents on Founders Day. And I remember standing in the wings, and my friend who was saying half the dialogues, and then I had to say, I was saying half the dialogues, he was saying half the dialogues. And I must have been 6. And I was only preoccupied with, yaar, usko achhi gun mili. Mujhe achhi wali gun kyun nahi mili? He's such a cool gun. It has a light in front of it. I still remember it vividly. And I was trying to pataw him ki mere ko teri gun de de, which didn't happen, of course. And then it came, our cue came, the lights were bright, the spotlight was on, the teachers prodded us. I walked off onto stage. I turned to my left and I see my buddy is there. He's standing in the wing and he started crying. So I said, "Theek hai, koi baat nahi." So I said my whole dialogues. Then I looked once at him. He's still refusing to come on stage. I looked and I said all of his dialogues.
Wow.
And my drama teacher was super happy.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine. It worked out.
She was like, this kid, he's got something, And I think that was the spark. And then from there, I just started being a part of every school play and doing more. And, then I did my Trinity College of London in correspondence, in speech and drama. And then I ended up topping it unexpectedly, globally. So then I said, oh, maybe this is something. Maybe I have it. Maybe I've got the talent. Started like that. Started with theatre, school plays, then built it up from there. I think I was 11 or 12 when my dad and I had a conversation. He said, what do you want to be? I want to be an actor. He smiled. He said, it's a lot of work. And he said, look, you can be anything you want. It's great to desire, but you have to deserve to desire. I was like, what does that mean? He said, if you know what you want, think of what will make you deserving of what you want. Start working towards it. That was enough for me. I started working in theatre. I started assisting. I did competitive national theatre, youth festival. I was a 3-time gold medalist at the India level. But I worked and worked and worked, and I was strangely never entitled because I was never brought up that way. Arey, ye Suresh Oberoi ka beta hai, isko role de do, main role de do. Nothing. I remember my first role in college. I'm a winner of the Drama Talent Scholarship from Eton. I'm a winner from all these competitions. And the first role they gave me was to hold a danda and stand behind the main character. I was so frustrated. And I was humiliated at one point. I was like, don't you know my talent? You make me stand with a danda at the back. And I was bored. This character is just not getting it right. I'm like, if I had this role, I would have killed it.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there and he's not getting the lines right. By now, I know the lines and I'm like irritated with him and I'm like, latkawing like that. Suddenly a shoe came flying. Straight towards my face. I was like ducked out last second, hit my shoulder and fell. And I saw my college theatre director screaming at me. I was like, what happened? Because that's not how I was used to things,
Yeah.
So then he said something to me. He said, अगर तू इतना सा भी रोल, एक काम दिया था तुझे, डंडा पकड़ के सीधा खड़ा रहे. तू ये भी पूरी तरह से नहीं कर सकता है. तो मेन रोल कैसे दूंगा तुझे? That struck me. I was like, oh yeah, he has a point.
Yeah.
I have not shown sincerity towards this.
Why should he trust me to do that? Yeah.
I changed my point of view. Then I worked and worked and worked, and within 8 months of that incident, I got the main role in the first college play.
Wow. Yeah. And how was it like when you were in front of the camera in your debut? And what a debut it was.
There's a crazy story to my debut. I don't know if you know of it.
No, I'm not. I'm. But I love the movie. I love the film.
So I did. Thank you. I did my New York days. Everything came back. Typical. बेटा वापस आया है. इसको launch किया जाए. Abbas Mustan sir was signed. They'd just given a blockbuster film called Soldier. My dad was in it with Bobby.
Yeah.
And he'd convinced them ki, I'll produce it, you direct it. They started writing a script. He said, now you're back, beta. This is going to happen. My idol was my dad. He made it on his own with no sifarish, with no letter from anybody, with no name behind him. He made it on his own, on his talent. In the 7 people that were chosen in FTI, Pan-India, out of millions that applied, it was him. He made it his own talent. So he was always my idol. I had a crisis of conscience here. I felt like my dad is investing in it to give me this platform. Don't I have the talent? Don't I believe in myself? If he could do it, if he could do it, why can't I?
Yeah.
And I remember that morning when I woke up, we have that Punjabi peri-penna tradition in our house even today. So I went and touched his feet. I sat with him in the morning and I said, I don't want to do this movie. He said, "Kya hua? Cold feet?" I was like, no. I don't want to do this movie unless they're going to cast me without your money. If you're paying for this, that means I'm not worth it. That means they're not convinced with my talent, with my performance. And he's like, but I worked so hard to give you a platform. And I was like, you have to trust me. He said, it's going to be tough. It's a struggle. I said, I'm up for it. Ab bol to diya. Now I had to follow it with action.
Yeah.
I went and met Abbas Mustan. I told them, would you still make the film if my dad doesn't finance it? Of course, the answer was no.
Yeah.
So I said, it's fine, no problem, nothing personal. I'll work. So I went out and started struggling now. Here was the conflict key. This is the same industry where my dad is a very well-respected, well-known figure. Why is his son struggling around like that? That's an embarrassment for him. So I dropped my last name. So I went everywhere as Vivekanand.
Vivekanand. Okay.
That's my middle name.
Yeah, okay.
So I was named after Swami Vivekanand.
Oh,
so,
right. Okay.
Vivekanand. So everywhere Vivekanand is going up, showing up for all these auditions. And India में ना एक चीज बहुत ज़्यादा मिलती है और absolutely free. वो है advice. And I kept getting advice. ये तुम actor नहीं बन सकते. You don't have that X factor. You don't have this. You shouldn't do that. At least see me perform. Make audition तो देख ले भाई.
Yeah.
But no, 18 months of absolute personal struggle. Like how in Game of Thrones, Arya Stark has a list.
Yeah.
I had my own little list.
Wow.
I was like, Achha, this one humiliated me, this one humiliated, this one. One day, but it was a positive list. I didn't want to kill anybody. I was like, one day, this person will come back and sign me and chase me, and I'll make that happen. I wanted to manifest that. And then I hear about Ram Gopal Varma making a film.
Yeah.
Companies being made. There's this role. So I shave clean, look the nicest I can look, wear a nice shirt and everything. And I land up in his office with my portfolio, with my certificates, my headshots, my little, stuff that I've shot in New York. I present everything to him, met me very respectfully, and he said that you're not the guy. I was like, why? He says, you're too clean cut. You're this, soft, educated, polished image. You can't play this character. This is grunge, it's underworld, it's rough. I didn't want to take no for an answer. So I said, no, I get it, sir. But that's what acting is all about. You can transform. He says, no. I was like, okay. He's like, can I get one meeting with you 3 weeks from now? I said, why 3 weeks? I said, I need 3 weeks. Give me one meeting with you. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm not going to cast you for this, but okay. I leave his office. I had two choices. Disappointment after 18 months of struggle, still not happening, frustration, or to make it happen. I chose the latter. I went straight from my house, packed a few things, took whatever money I had saved, and I went to my Ruya Pak Basti, to a slum. And I actually took a kholi, a slum, a hut, on bhada. I said, I want to rent this kholi. And I stayed there. I woke up every day, 14, 15 hours a day, from morning to evening, watching people come, watching them go, how they speak, what they talk, how they behave, what their body language is, what their mindsets are, how they smoke a bidi, how they drink their chai. I just kept observing.
The everyday thing.
Every single day for 21 days. And it was difficult.
Of course.
It was difficult because there were no bathrooms. I had to use the Sulabh Shauchalaya, and if you didn't have the right change, you're fighting against nature with your bowels going crazy, and you're like, I need 2 rupees somehow in change. It's funny how the person sitting outside the Sulabh Shauchalaya who lets you enter, even that is a position of power in a society like how India used to be. So I went through that whole journey, and then came the day. I wore chappals, ill-fitting trouser, a shirt I had bought off somebody's clothesline. That guy couldn't understand. He said, "Sab, मैं आपको दुकान बता देता हूँ. आपको इतनी अच्छी लगी ये शर्ट, आप वहाँ जाके खरीद लो." I said, "नहीं, मेरे को ये पुरानी वाली शर्ट चाहिए जो लटकी है यहाँ पे, जो सूख रही है." And I called a friend of mine who was struggling to be a photographer. I said, "See, bro, if I make it, my first cover will be you. But shoot pictures for me. I want to shoot a day in the life of Chandu Nagre." That's all I knew about the character. Chandu Nagre comes from a slum. And I built a whole thing, and I actually in those days wrote an autobiography of Chandu Nagre, his whole story. So I went armed with that, put a beedi in my mouth, landed up at Ramuji's office. The watchman said, "Bhag jao yahan se." I was like, yes, I convinced him. He sent a message, "Vivek Anand aaye hain." Ramuji said to go up. I remember that moment, Karishma. I'm entering, and the door has that tint, which reacts like a mirror, so you can see your reflection in it. I'm entering the door and I see my face, and I said, my face is clean. I've grown a rugged beard and all of that, but my face is looking too clean. So I gave that bundle of photographs to the watchman. I put my fingers and nails into the flower pot next to the, outside the door. I started digging it out and started putting stuff like this on my face. And this, you should have seen the reaction on the watchman's face. He thought, "Ye pagal aadmi kaun hai? Muh pe mitti laga raha hai." I put in, struck up the beedi, swaggered into the office, outside his door. Bhagwan ka naam liya, andar se to dak dak chal raha tha. But I kicked the door open, swaggered in, pulled up a chair, sat on the chair, put my feet up on his table, chappals up on the table like that. I'm just giving him the death stare, right? Smoking, blowing that smoke up there. All of that. I said, "Hey, topda kya dekhta hai? Photo. And I threw the photos there, right? And he's seeing the photos. Inside, I'm nervous because he's my legend. He's somebody I look up to. I mean, Saathiya, Rangila, all the films before. I've loved Ram Gopal Verma's maverick style of filmmaking. And I'm like, I hope this happens. And there he is. He's looking at the pictures. He's looking at me. He's looking at the pictures. Then he opens his drawer. He pulls out another set of my clean headshots. New York Day headshots. He's looking at this. He's looking at this. Puts them down. He says, "That's it. I'm still not giving up my character." I'm thinking, is this a test? I'm holding on. He's like, "You're it. I want you to play Chandu." I'm still doing all that natak. He says, "Can you please put that beedi out?" "Oh, sorry, sir." And I put the beedi out. I said, "Are you sure, sir? You're casting me?" He says, "Yeah, why?" So I have something to tell you. I said, "What? What do you have to tell me? Is it an issue?" I said, No issue, sir. I'm Suresh's son." "Suresh Oberoi son?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Suresh's son." Why didn't you tell me that before? Sir, I wanted you to cast me on my merit. He looked at me. He said, come. I got into his Land Cruiser. My house was 5-10 minutes away from his office. It's a Sunday. My dad is gardening in his shorts in the garden. Suddenly, Ram Gopal Varma walks in. He's confused, like, why is Ramuji coming to my house?
Did I call him?
Did I call him? And he sees me dressed up like this, in a weird way, coming behind him. He has no idea because I've been away from home for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Comes in behind him and he says, sir, I just want to tell you this happened. And I'm signing your son. The tears of joy and pride I saw in my father's eyes that day.
Yeah.
My son made it on his own. He went through 18 months of struggle and he made it on his own. He didn't take it off a platter, off my palm.
Yeah.
He made it on his own success. I have won more than 60 awards, but that moment to me is greater than any award.
It sounds it, of course. I mean, it sounds like it's like finally, right? Like it happened, and it happened the right way, most important.
I can call my success my own, I can call my failures my own. I made my own path.
Yeah.
That has deep value for me.
Of course.
It's not that I don't owe anybody anything. I owe people who believed in me. I owe people who supported me. Even my team, my boy, my makeup artist, my driver, everybody who's helped me come along the way.
Yeah.
They're all part of my success and journey. But it's my success and my journey.
Whatever it is, it's
mine.
yours. Yeah. And that's so important.
Yeah.
And once company release, and it's an iconic debut. Like, it's a dream debut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I feel like it's one of the most iconic films because it's just so raw. And I think at that time, the rawness wasn't as much as it is today. Like today, you'll see it a lot on OTT. You'll see your Mirzapur and your Sacred Games, which is just like, oh my God, this actually happens. Or
This is 2002.
Yeah, and this was
People
early.
were shocked. They were saying, you're committing, advisors. You're committing suicide. You're killing your career before it starts. You're not wearing designer clothes. Who's your designer? Manish Malhotra is not doing your outfits. Those are the kind of questions I would get. I'm like, to understand the film, the space. There's no songs. You're not dancing. There's no dance number. You know how to dance. Why are you not dancing? So, that's not the character. And then, when it became this massive success, then everybody said, super.
Right
great.
decision.
Disruptive thinking.
I
Great.
told you, right decision.
Yeah, good decision. Alag socha kuch.
But the arc was tremendous, right? Like from this to something like a Saathiya, which is again...
That is a crazy story.
All these films have amazing stories. I'm so interested to listen to.
Everybody said, don't do it. You're an action hero now. How can you do a love story? What is this love story? Put some action scenes into it. Put some big fight in the climax. But that's not the film. The film is this little sweet, chotu, pyara, honest tale.
Beautiful.
My mentor was furious. RGV said, no, don't do this film. And then it was like, better than taking permission is to ask for forgiveness types.
Yeah.
I was like, I love this film because Shad is a school friend. He was making the film with Abhishek, I think. That didn't work out. I already had my debut started. We had just celebrated together कि तेरी picture भी शुरू हो गई, मेरी भी शुरू हो गई. Great यार, बचपन के दोस्त. Suddenly he calls me, he says, come home right now. And I went home. He said, I need to do my film. I was like, I can't. I've just started. I mean, I've just got my career on track and you're asking me for dates while I'm shooting company. Not possible. I can't even go with what face I'm going to do. Go to my mentor and say, I have to sign this film. He said, okay, don't do anything. Just watch the movie. Watch Alai Paide, the original.
Okay, yeah.
So, Mani sir's Alai Paide, he played it on a VCR. So, you know how old we are. Watched it. I'm bawling at the end of it, sitting in Shadu's house. I'm crying, I'm emotional. I can't talk. I'm choked with the emotion of the film. I was like, dude, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I have to do this film.
Yeah.
And that's how Saathiya happened.
That's insane.
And it's so funny because company hadn't released.
Yeah.
I was shooting Saathiya. I used to be on the railway stations. I used to be sleeping on the benches because we had no budget. There was no makeup van.
Saathiya,
Yeah, I had to go into restaurant toilets to change clothes. We had to shoot 4 scenes in a day. We were shooting 18, 20 hours in a day. There were times where I was carrying equipment. So I had gone back to my assistant days after starting a debut without the release. I didn't have a release. Nobody knew me. And here I was shooting, going around everywhere. The day Rani used to come, there was security, there was somebody, there's all of that. Rani ma'am is here, okay, Rani ma'am is here. All of that was the scene. Nobody knew me, nobody cared. There's a scene in Saathiya where I'm chasing Sohani across the railway tracks, where I'm telling her, ruk jao, kya hua? What did your parents say to my parents? It's a small scene. We're shooting on a Sunday. This Sunday happens to be the Sunday after Company released. Company released on Friday. This is Sunday. This is outside Gatey Galaxy. It's at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. We're shooting. Suddenly, a few people start to come. They start to recognize ये तो वही लड़का है. They don't know my name yet. They start calling me Chandu. So I'm kind of getting a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, before I know it, by lunchtime, there's 2,000 people screaming, Chandu aay! Tu aur teri company khalas! Chandu aay! Chandu aay! And we had like 2 security guys for Rani. So Shad grabbed me like this, put me into the one makeup van that was there. That was also poor Rani's makeup van only. They put me into that makeup van and shut me inside and said, "Tu bahar nahi niklega." And then suddenly cops are coming. I'm like, oh God, I'm still thinking like this struggling actor.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of the stardom. I'm thinking, oh my God, my producer's going to be so upset. Shooting kharab ho gayi hai. We're losing so many hours. How are we going to finish the scene? I'm still an assistant in my head. I'm still thinking like that. An hour of this unbearable agony inside. The door opens. Shad comes in. He pulls me. He says, come out. I want you to see this. I come out and there's literally like a sea of people screaming my name, shouting, screaming Chandu's name, shouting. And he looked at me and that was my moment of realization. He said, "Tu star ban gaya mere bhai."
Wow.
And then he got me, put me with this whole bunch of cops. I couldn't even get my car in. I had to leave in a police vehicle. And they took me out. And that was it. Life changed forever after that day.
That was the day.
That was it. I still remember that so clearly.
Wow.
Friday, Saturday, theek hai. That Sunday, I changed. Everything changed. The way I looked at myself changed.
That was tough.
What I had to think before going out, what I had to do before going out, everything changed.
Yeah. And then how was the process, the rest of the process for Saathiya? Because again, I think one of the most beautiful films. I still watch it. Like every year, I think at least once I watch it. Because it's just, that one night where you're like, what do you watch? You want to feel good. You want to feel happy. You want to feel a little love. That's the film.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. I think the rest of the process was pretty much the same. I just had a few more security guards and my own makeup van.
That's the change
that
happened.
Everything else is the same. It was still a struggle. वही costume है, वही ये है, वही वो है. Budget कम है, 18 घंटे shoot करना है. अच्छा ठीक है भाई कर लेते हैं.
How was it working with Rani? From where?
It was amazing. I mean, I remember Rani being quite intimidating.
Okay.
And initially it was like, oh gosh, here's this big star. She's worked opposite all these huge stars. Because I was shooting Saathiya and Company at the same time, there had to be date adjustments. And Rani had to do those date adjustments. And there is a hierarchy in the film industry. And she's a much senior star. She's a much bigger star. And I remember the first time I'm going to say hello to her. And she says, oh, so you're the guy because of whom my whole date schedule has got messed up. That's the first thing she tells me. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then I have to go and romance her. So it started off very intimidating because she was larger than life. I mean, I was a kid in college going to theatres to watch Rani Mukherji on screen.
And suddenly
I'm romancing her there. And she's a phenomenal actress. She holds her own in every scene. She's a power-packed performer. From there, then, I think a mutual friendship and a camaraderie developed. And then it was beautiful working with her. She was so warm, so lovely. I still remember the first time I ever ate Bengali food, proper, real, authentic Bengali food, was tiffins coming from Rani's house. And I was like, I don't eat shooting food.
Yeah.
She's like, come. I'll show you what real khana is.
Yeah.
And great. I mean, it was amazing working with her. She's just such a brilliant performer.
And how were you riding the highs after these massive successful films as like you've just entered and you've kind of disrupted it, right? Because you've already shown your art within these two films.
I think I was so consumed with the medium, the cinema, the films that I wanted to do. I was so hungry and constantly wanting to reinvent, right? I was in a hurry to reinvent too much, actually, to be honest. I mean, I did Company, then I wanted to do Saathiya, then I wanted to do Road in between, then I did Dum, which is a crazy massy action film, then I wanted to do Masti, which was this crazy comedy. And so I kept jumping. Yuva, which was a high concept film with Mani sir, Omkara after that. So it was constantly in that hunger to voraciously do cinema. I think in my personal life, though, nothing much changed because my family was so rock solid as this normalization factor. When I came home, it was the same me.
Yeah.
You know, it was, life is not between action and cut. That's cinema. Life is what comes before action and after cut.
Yeah.
That's what real life is. Strange experiences. I remember reading an article where it said Shah Rukh Khan and Vivek Oberoi, because of Company and I don't know which one of Shah Rukh's films, have influenced young people to take up tobacco, smoke. It was a Times of India article. And I was only reading good things about me until then. I was like, this hurt. I was like, ये क्या हो रहा है? ये क्यों हुआ है? ठीक है. Yeah, I was acting. बीड़ी smoke कर रहा हूँ. People have probably picked it up. I don't know. So I had two options. One was to be defensive and turn around and say, these guys are just nonsense. This is just negative campaign. One was to say, okay, let me understand this. Be open to it. Let's not come from a point of ego and self-defense. Yeah. So I picked up the phone. I found out the organization was called Cancer Patients Aid Association. I read about them. They do phenomenal work. Great work for cancer patients. I said, I want to meet you guys. So I went to meet them. I built a relationship with them and I said, okay, if I'm an influence, in my personal life I don't smoke. Can I be a positive influence? Tell people to stop smoking.
Yeah.
And it started like that. And we did the most successful anti-tobacco campaign in the history of India. Most people watched it. Shad shot it. I did a film. Shashi sir did a film. Shashi Kapoor sir did a film. We did these short films and we got them shown all over theatres. And then while I was doing this, I can remember get a call from Anita Peter from Cancer Patients Aid Association saying that there's this lady, she's come from Nepal. A child has got ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And I had lost my childhood sweetheart, my girlfriend from school days, to ALL. I'd lost my dadi, who I loved the most, I was so close to the same thing. So it hit a chord. I went to see this lady and I saw this baby. I remember her name was Sahara. And I held her in my hands and they said, there's no hope for this child and stuff like that. And I was like, but there has to be. How can this beautiful, living, breathing thing die? And it was too much pain for me. And then I remember reaching out to all the best doctors I knew. And CPA helped me. And I said, whatever it costs, we have to save this child. I was so cool to see that we all made this attempt. And this kid actually got saved.
Wow.
And from there till now, she's I think 22. She's 22 years old now.
Wow.
We've celebrated birthdays together, hers or mine. Yeah. And that inspired me to set up something with Cancer Patients Aid Association. The same people who spoke negatively about me in the press.
Yeah.
To set up something that went on to impact 250,000 children over 22 years.
Such a moving story, and I can't believe you're so beautiful that you'll celebrate these birthdays together.
Every one of my birthdays I celebrate with survivors and fighters.
Wow.
All kids.
That's super inspiring, and I'm definitely going to check it out after.
You must. It's a great organization. We do a good job.
And speaking of media, how is it, once, okay, you've seen the amazing side and then say your films don't work, and this is a place where people are waiting, right, to say things about you. you've mentioned, that there were years when these kind of articles came out about your work after you've had that initial success period. How did you deal with that? Were you always this positive? Were you always coming from a place of, no, I'll make it into something better? Or were there days where it was just tough?
For people who want to be in front of the camera, people like yourself or like myself, when you put yourself out there, especially in today's world, this is more relevant now than it was then, there's going to be all these people ready to pull you down.
100%.
You can look at them with fear, or you can look at them with sympathy. Don't empathize with them, sympathize. Think of how empty somebody's life is, that their whole purpose is to somehow pull you down, not to celebrate you, but to pull you down.
Yeah.
Think of where they are, how empty and useless they feel, that their only ability is to pull somebody down and feel good about themselves. Because they're not doing anything that makes them feel good about themselves.
Correct.
You sympathize with that
instead
of fear. You divide your life into buckets. And this is not something that I've learned from day one. This is 15, 20 years of learning, of pain, of cycles of anger, of frustration, going into a point of evolving into a sense of zen and saying, "Ki, ab mujhe samajh mein aa gaya ye. I know how to crack this code." Life is not a formula.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of formulas that help you live life better. So my formula is the 90-10 formula. Say 90% of the people don't matter. Give it 10% of weightage, importance. 10% of the people that matter, that love you for who you are, they don't have an angle or an agenda, give them 90% of weightage in your life.
Yeah.
That balances everything out. It's not easy. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But it's important to do that. You slowly start developing, when you don't give something value or importance, like you would have had your first heartbreak when you were a kid. At that time you felt, this is the end of the world. Oh my God, my life is over. Now you're laughing about it.
Yeah. You've also spoken a lot on this subject, right? Which is very pertinent to the youth today, especially about mental health. And you've said that
It's a pandemic.
Yeah, in fact, you quoted saying that you resonate with what Sushant Singh Rajput
it was really
did
sad.
say, and not just about the industry, but about dealing with something of this gravitas. And you yourself have been through it. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and what you did, the steps that you took to overcome? Because I hope that this can inspire people who are watching, who perhaps are maybe going through something similar in their lives.
So I think I've interacted with Sushant. He was a lovely boy, phenomenal talent, and absolute tragedy to lose him the way we did as an industry. It was a loss to the industry. It was a loss to people at large. And I think, if I'm being absolutely honest, there's a very dark place that you can get to in life, especially when professional, personal, all of it starts to go wrong at the same time. It's a very dark place that you can get to. I've been there. I've been at that edge of darkness. It's not that I haven't thought of things that Sushant did. But when I was there at his funeral, at his pyre, when I was looking at his sister cry the way she was, because in the middle of COVID, it was pouring rain, so sad to see this beautiful boy, this amazing star, going there with barely 20 people there at the funeral. I was one of those 20 that made it there because I felt that I wanted to be there for him and his family there. And in that rain, I saw the shattered eyes of his father. I saw his crying sister. And the only thought that I had looking at Sushant's body there was, buddy, if you had seen this scene, if you saw what this action would do to the people you love, you wouldn't have made this mistake. You wouldn't have taken this step. So I think if you're in that dark place, fast forward in your head. Bite that time. Think of what you would do by doing something like that, by ending your life, to the ones who have genuinely loved you, nothing but loved you. Yeah. Think of the hurt and pain. You're feeling pain, but if you feel like you don't want to cause them pain, you'll stop hurting that much. Go into love. Go into the light. That's where it is. Go to the people who actually love you. And that pain will dissipate. There's a catharsis. You cry, you're upset, you moan, you mope. It all comes out. I was fortunate that I had that home. I have that home. Yeah. I have that family. I have that sister. I have that mother. I have that father who would hold me in those moments. It's not that I haven't cried. Why is this happening to me? I sat on the floor, put my head on my mom's lap like a baby and cried. I said, why is that happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And mums as mums are, they're genuinely, my mom's my true hero. They're God on earth in my mind, right? She kept stroking my head, waited for me maybe 30, 40 minutes of my moping, crying, complaining. That's one thing women have with their children incredibly, which is patience, no matter how old your kid is. And she asked me only one thing. She said, beta, when you were winning those awards, when you were getting all the glory, all the fame, all the love, did you ask Bhagwan, why me?
Yeah.
Why are you asking it now? And that clicked. And she said, come with me. She took me to Tata Memorial Hospital. I walked in, because my mom, not many people know this, but for about 30 years of her life, did seva for palliative care patients. So people in the last stages of cancer, they're alone. She would go sit with them, strangers, talk to them, read books to them, cook food, something they like to eat, carry the food for them from home, and just give them love. 30 years. That's it. That's the seva she did. She said, come with me. I went with her. I'd only heard about what she does.
Yeah.
I've never really gone with her. Like, which young guy wants to go sit in the cancer hospital, talk to patients? I never did it. But the state of mind I was in, I was so dark. I decided to go with my mom. I walked into the pediatric ward, Bacche. Two things that changed my life, realizations. The first one was, I realized, my God, look at these kids. Eyes are red, hair's fallen out, 7, 8, 10, 11. Instead of being in school, playing with their kids, friends in the playground, they're lying here in bed getting transfusions. Look at their parents. That is a problem. That is pain. My problems are nothing compared to this. Oh, this one's being mean to me. I'm getting bullied. This is happening. This is nothing. Look at that. Look at what these little kids are dealing with at this age. So that broke that day. And the second realization was a positive one. Where even in that state, when I walked in, they started smiling. I didn't bring anything with me, Karishma. I didn't carry gifts. I wasn't Santa Claus. I just walked in. And I realized the immense power I've been blessed with. The power of celebrity can do so much good. Your just simple mere presence there can bring a smile to the faces of these children who are dealing with so much pain. And that was the day I realized, that's it. This is what I'm going to do. I would come there, I would read stories to those kids, bring them toys. I started toy banks in all the cancer hospitals that I could. I started getting people to contribute. I tied up with toy companies. I bought some, they donated some. I said, let's create a toy bank. Everybody gets to play with these toys. When you're tired, you go back, return those toys. You take another toy and you keep exchanging. And we sanitize all the toys, right? It just took away my pain. when you wipe somebody else's tears, there's a magic.
Yeah.
It takes the pain away from your heart.
Yeah. Wow. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it does. It works. It's beautiful.
Do you think that after this journey, right, where, like you said, like there were crushing lows, super highs, you're balanced now, where, okay, the highs are there, the lows are there, but I'm here, I'm at this equilibrium, and I can, whatever it is, either it's amazing or it's, I hope not, but like really bad, I'm still going to be here.
Yeah.
And what is the one thing, is there something, are you spiritual? Have you reached this place where you do certain things to maintain that balance in your life?
I think especially in India, we've forgotten the SPI. We do the ritual. But the SPI that comes before the ritual, that makes it spiritual, we've forgotten that. We'll go, we'll stand, we'll be doing our little diya, prayer, whatever it is, but we're thinking about something else. Aaj kaam pe yahan jana, aaj isse meeting karna, aaj ye kaam. Okay, bye. Formality sake. That spiritual can be anything. It could be lighting a diya, agarbatti, prayer. It could be just sitting in meditation. It could be spending 5 minutes with yourself. It could be taking a decision that today I'm going to treat everybody nice, no matter how much they try my patience. No matter how upset I am, how hungry I am, how irritable I am, I'm just going to be nice to everybody. Spiritual could be practiced in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Balance is essential, but for balance, you need absolute and complete honesty. You need to be honest with yourself. And that can only happen when we have a conversation with ourselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, today, the world is so outward in rather than inward out. My perception of me is based on what my Instagram followers are saying or what my friends are saying or what my friends are doing, and I'm comparing constantly and taking all that in as feedback, and that's making the mental image of me.
Yeah.
Where's my voice? Who am I? Why am I not asking that question? Why am I not sitting back quietly, cutting out the noise, listening to my own heartbeat and listening to what it's telling me I really am? That's essential. You need to be honest. Because when you grow up, when you reach a certain age, you'll realize that everything you took stress for at a certain age and stage in life is rubbish.
Yeah.
You think of a toy you broke and you cried so much because of that toy broke. Today you'll think about it, you'll laugh. Today, every big issue that I felt was worth moping about, crying for, being depressed, wanting to end things, go to that limit. Today when I look at it, I laugh. I'm like, that's all it was?
Yeah.
Yahi tha bas.
Yeah. Do you think it's made worse for people like you who are in the public eye, right? Because today if I'm going through something emotional in my career or on the personal front, it's not being spoken about in the news and in the media. Do you think that this is also a factor that contributed to that? It became the bigness of it, as opposed to now when you look at it.
Of course, it's magnified, right?
Yes.
I think, Karishma, there's an absolute truth that I live by. People can take your power away, but they can't take your strength away. Your power in your field of work, in your business, in something else is one thing. But your strength is yours.
Yeah.
When you lose your power, you don't have to lose your strength. You think you've lost your strength. You have to remind yourself, who am I? Look at my strength.
Yeah.
Look at these parents standing behind me. Look at the way they love me. Look at no judgment in my friends' eyes. Look at the good they've done in my life. This is my strength. I've earned it. 40 years I've lived, I've earned this. That's my strength, my spirituality, my prayer, my blessings. Every good deed I've done, that's my strength. That nobody can take away. Your ability, your talent, your education, that's your strength.
Yeah.
Nobody can take that away. You can get fired from your job. That's your power gone. But your strength that got you that power, that's still yours.
Correct.
Claw it back. Build your power again. Because the only raw material you need for that is your strength.
Yeah. And how has life been as a married person? You're such a romantic, and you look it, you feel it, you embody it, and you had an arranged marriage. It was a bit anticlimactic in
how
in your life. Like Vivek Oberoi is having a arranged marriage.
Bang.
Sound the bell.
So funny. So I think so many things have happened because of an article in my life. There's an article that came out on me and I think Yuvraj Singh.
Okay.
I think it was me, Yuvraj Singh and Rahul Gandhi. If I'm not mistaken. These guys, why aren't they married, and eligible bachelor story. It's quite funny. And somewhere in the background, and I was in this space where I was like, मेरे को शादी नहीं करनी है, boss. I'm running away from any kind of potential pain because this doesn't end well. And I've been hurt too much and I want to keep away from this. I don't want anybody coming close to me. I was in that zone and that article came. My Masi met Priyanka's Masi and she said, you know, your nephew and my niece would be perfect. And here's Priyanka, I think somewhere in New York studying her green MBA or something like that time. And they sent a full photograph and biodata and all of that. My mom's seen this. My mom has already heard from me enough saying ki, please don't talk about this. Because she's tried this in the past. It's not that this was the first time. She's tried to make me meet by somebody saying, Beta, some family friends are coming today. Will you come? My mom, I'm busy. No, come for 5 minutes. Suddenly, with uncle and auntie, I'm seeing this young girl who's looking at me and smiling, all nicely dressed up. You know, nothing to blame, but I'm like, oh, come on, man. Booby trapped by mom again, you know, kind of a story. So I told mom, ki, bilkul nahi. So then she's like looking at this photo. Purposely, mom's also not a professional, but a super actor. She was looking at this photo and behaving like nothing's happened. I've come, I've touched her feet, I'm giving her a hug, and I'm saying, oh, who's this girl? She's quite pretty. And she says, you like her? I said, oh, no, she's quite pretty. That's all I said. Next cut to, she's like, you have to go meet this girl. I'm like, Arey, I told you I don't want to get married. What is this? That to arrange marriage? Do you think I'll get an arranged marriage? So I did a deal with her. And I'll go meet this girl. But on the condition that after this, you stop asking me to get married. I'll go finish this. Ye duty mein tick mark karke aa jata hu. But the deal is then after this, no more trying to find me a girl, trying to get me married, none of that. She's like, okay, done. Moms have supreme confidence. I think they know us better than we know ourselves. So I've gone in my arrogance thinking कि ठीक है.
Formality.
मैं सुबह land करूँगा, शाम की flight ले लूँगा. I'll meet her. Where is she? She is in Italy, in Florence. She's holidaying with her extended family, some 25 people. So उसके बीच में हम चले गए, पहुँच गए. और I land there, I wait. I'm sitting in a cafe in Florence, waiting for Priyanka to come. I've only seen pictures of her. And I see this girl walking in towards me. First thing I notice is flat chappals. Simple linen pants. One simple top, hair tied up loosely with that stick in there. No makeup. I said, wow, matlab confidence ki daat deni padegi. She's not dressed up, she's not done her makeup, she's done nothing. She's come and just sat in front of me. She said, hi, sorry, I'm 10 minutes late. I'm like, acha yaar, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, movie star, all of that. I mean, okay, she's very chilled.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, okay. We start having a conversation. I'm loving this conversation. I'm loving the spiritual depth. I'm loving this whole thing. I said, you don't mind if we go for a walk? Nice, you know, by the river, cobblestones. We're having a conversation. We're chatting. And she said, so, tell me about you. So I said, well, everything that...
Google it.
Yeah, literally. And, well, I'm an actor. And she's like, she said something that made me completely drop this whole actor stuff and come to Mama Earth, you know, like Zameen Pe, which was, she said, that's just what you do. not who you are. Tell me who you are. Like, profound.
Yeah, wow.
Pehli meeting mein. Like, okay.
Depth.
I said, whoa, ye kya ho raha hai? That led to a conversation. I remember walking onto the Santa Trinita Bridge to watch the sunset. Conversation, sunset. I break out of this trance, Karishma, and I realize it's 2 a.m. I've missed my flight.
What?
And I've not felt hungry, thirsty. And two of us have been talking. And in that moment, I knew it. I said, boss, how can a person make me feel like this? How can it be so real that the silences are comfortable, the conversations are beautiful? Kuch nahi hai. It's just there. And it feels like home. So, of course, I figured out a way to drop her at 3 in the morning at this beautiful resort or vineyard where she and her family were staying. Like a movie scene. I'm saying, I'll apologize to your family in the morning. I was supposed to get you back by 7. It's 3 in the morning that you're reaching. And I turned around the bend to drop her, and there's 23 people sitting there, including her nani. And quick switch to good Punjabi boy. Peripana nani ji, kaisi hain aap? Namaste, 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 namaste. And I was like, this is quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I said goodbye to everybody. I left. But I couldn't get her out of my mind. Flight to miss ho chuki thi. तो अगली सुबह क्या किया? I rented a convertible.
Wow.
Wore a nice jacket back. Drove straight back
How
there.
Bollywood. How Bollywood.
11 in the morning, I was there. And there she was, completely shocked to see me because she was just playing with her cousins and nieces and nephews. They were chatting and having fun. And I said, let's go for a drive. She was like, but I haven't even showered. I said, it's okay, let's go for a drive. She sat in the car with me and we took off. And it was a day of just conversation and just, I don't know what happened that day, but at the end of that day, in the evening when I came to drop her back, I said, look, you're a lady and it's your privilege to decide yes, no. And I respect that. But I just want you to know that if I'm ever going to get married in my life, it's going to be to you. If I don't marry you, I'll never get married at all. I've decided that. Now the rest is up to you. You take your time and decide. And then I made my exit. Slow motion. And that was it.
That was it.
That was it.
Wow.
She still asked me, she's like, how can you know in one day?
Yeah.
I was like, I waited so that it wouldn't look crazy. I knew the same day. I waited till the next day so it wouldn't be like too abrupt. She's like, 48 hours is waiting.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
No.
I just knew. I knew in the moment that this was it. This was home.
Wow.
This is where my heart belongs.
It's beautiful.
And 14 years since, I can't tell you. I mean, it's the same feeling. You know, I have friends, couples. Everybody has issues. Everybody works through them. But I keep telling them, I said, listen, if your biggest fight is about time, that she wants to spend time with you, not about the new Louis Vuitton bag or the fancy car, that she just wants your time. She wants you, man. How much special can it get than that?
Yeah.
It's so cool that that's all she wants from you. She wants you.
Yeah.
Nothing from you, just you. That's special. That's magical to have.
Yeah. 100%. That's so beautiful. So happy. I hope there's a movie made on this.
Saathiya 2.
Yeah.
Saathiya 2.
Saathiya 2. Wow. And let's talk about the work front. How has the journey evolved, right? Like from your initial career, the middle, the time that we spoke about where it wasn't as great, to now, of course, there's OTT, which is a massive leveler. And the kind of talent that you see on OTT is phenomenal. I'm obsessed with Indian shows. I think they're the best in the world. Like, I wait for Indian shows to come out. And you were recently in IPF.
Yeah.
How has it been? How has the entire journey been? And what is your perception about the industry today in terms of how it's evolved?
Okay, so around 2008-9, I went through a phase where I was delivering hits. I had Shurare Lokhandwala in 7-8 and I won all these awards and massive box office, and yet I'm sitting at home. not getting work. People are saying, oh, I can't work with you for this reason. I can't work with you for that reason. I want to work with you, but I still can't work with you. All this drama. I'm like, but I'm doing my job. I'm delivering. Why am I being castigated like this, shunned like this, boycotted like this? It was very frustrating. So my power was gone, but I still had my strength. I had my education. I had my ability. I had my thinking. 2010, I also had the support of Priyanka, my wife, coming in and saying, I believe in you. This is going to happen. Don't worry. Life changed. I said, okay, if my industry is not allowing me to grow or prosper, how about another industry? And I started venturing out.
Yeah.
I put that same energy elsewhere, where I didn't have to walk in with baggage in the room. When I walked in, people knew me as the actor of Company and Saathiya and Omkara and Shootout. Not as, oh, abhi iska ye problem chal raha hai, None of that. So I switched the theatre of war. I changed the ambience of the room. I went into the corporate space. And I said, let's build something. And that started my journey of parallel entrepreneurship. That was like a second debut. Yeah. And that paid off. I ended up building a small company. Then I ended up building another bigger company. I went into real estate, saw a huge amount of success there. Brought in new concepts, new ideas to that, worked with the best, learned from the best. Then went into startups, built a fintech with a social impact that allows collateral-free loans for students. Today, the company is valued at over $400 million. That's been a great success story. Built an edtech company that was focusing on connecting the best teachers in cities to rural youth and getting them to do competitive exams, getting them to do career-focused courses. That company is worth over $150 million now. We've finished capital raising for that. That'll go public soon. Kept building stuff like that. Working something right now for farmers to help improve farm income, to help improve better quality of food. Positive social impact for profit, right? Scalable.
Yeah.
Loved jewelry, so created a ethical jewelry line which does lab-grown diamonds, which I'm wearing right now. Chalta Phirta showroom. Built that company, Solitario, that is now, I think, 5 countries, 25 cities in 2.5 years.
Wow.
Massive milestones coming in. First company to get onto, we feature on the Burj Khalifa in lab-grown jewelry. So that was a lot of fun. So kept evolving and building and saying, how can I add value? How can I create jobs?
Yeah.
How can I work with ecosystems? How can I make young, talented people grow? How can I be a savvy investor, co-founder, mentor? How can I take all these roles?
Yeah.
How can I use that same celebrity that I use for good in my philanthropy now to do it for social impact and positive profit?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Karmic and conscious capitalism.
Yeah.
So did it towards that. The confidence that success got me made up for the lack of confidence the failure was giving me here.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I wasn't delivering as an actor. I wasn't being given the opportunity only.
And that's so frustrating.
That's frustrating.
Yeah.
But this success and confidence helped me balance out this negative.
Yeah.
And I started feeling good about myself. I felt successful everywhere I went. And I walked into a room, I felt successful.
Yeah.
I knew more. I was much more well-rounded. I have now got so much experience and knowledge about so many domains.
It's a different world. I mean, you're part of 2 worlds and knowledge doubles.
Yeah. And people of my fraternity now, either they come to me for advice. They listen, I've got this opportunity, what should I do? And I'm like, here's a free consultation for you.
You're welcome.
And sometimes they're just in awe. They're like, how do you know all this? I was like, I learned it. Yeah. And that created the positivity. Parallelly, Inside Edge happened, which is fantastic to me. Season 1, 2, 3. Every time I go for a cricket match, even now, they're like, were you up to it when that wicket fell? I was like, dude, come on. That did really well. Then Inside Edge, then Indian Police Force happened. And now I'm doing a fun film with Tiger. Then I'm doing Masti 4.
Wow.
20 years since we did the first one. Boys never grow old, I guess. Masti 4 is happening, and then I'm just finished a really crazy thriller with Nitya Menon, fabulous actress, called Grey. Crazy twisted movie. Then doing 2 more action films and 1 more series.
Wow. So it's full circle.
Full circle, plate full, 24, 25, pretty much booked.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And
good,
so
happy space. Happy space, and I've done a lot to empower myself to get there.
You can tell.
I can proudly claim it also, and I don't claim it out of a point of ego. I claim it as a case in point to tell people, you can do this too. You should do this. Don't just wait for somebody to come and empower you or give you opportunity. Empower yourself, no matter where you are.
Okay, we're down to the last question. I think you're going to make your flight. Firstly,
I'm holding you responsible.
No. You make your flight. It's been such a lovely episode. Honestly, just felt like a warm hug. So I don't really know how to kind of end this. So I'll just end it the one way that I think will add most value, because you stand for that. Is what advice would you give the youth who are watching today?
Is it okay if I say this in Hindi?
Yeah.
Okay. सबकी सुनो, खुद की करो. बुरे वक्त में घबराना नहीं और अच्छे वक्त में पगलाना नहीं. Simple. Don't be scared when things don't go your way. Don't get crazy when things do go your way. Be balanced. A wise man may not necessarily be a nice man, but a nice man is always a wise man.
Amazing. It's a great way to end an episode. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
It's been amazing, and I'm so excited to watch everything that you're coming in, and just excited to watch your journey unfold, and we'll have you here for part 2.
Part 2, coming soon.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Thank you all for being the best community, and I'll see you soon.